Well, FedEx just dropped off our e-bike to TUTTIO Adria. So we'll bring it out to the back deck and we'll take it apart and see what it looks like. Okay, here's the box. So you get to take it out of the box. It looks like it's pretty well packed. One side of the handle is broken, which if you look inside, I don't think there's no damage, right? Looks pretty good. With the broken handle, it became kind of cumbersome trying to get this thing in the house. But well, now I'm gonna just pop all these staples and double staples. So there we go. Okay, here's everything that comes in the box. This is the battery. I can definitely feel the battery. Okay, so this is the next packaging. Here. Oh, okay. My tool set. Well, you gotta watch out for the screws. I mean, they're like loose. Tools for pedals and all that. Nice wrench. Zip ties. You're gonna need a bunch of those, so if you got some more lying around the house. No, this is the charger. The charger is 2.8 amps. It's almost 3 amps. Okay, so in the meantime, what I'm going to do, I'll open up the battery because while I'm assembling this bike, I'm going to also charge up the battery. Kind of makes sense, you know. There's the mounts to battery. It's pretty heavy. It's 30 amp hours. Production date 07/2024. And now this is all the certifications right down here. I think these are Samsung batteries, so it's going to be good. It's not generic batteries they got to worry about. You always read about the horror stories, you know. There's your set of keys here for the battery to lock it, unlock it from your bike. This is a key right here. Okay, it's a heavy battery. Okay, over here, let's just click. Okay, so we got 3. That's not bad. So if we're going to charge it right now, it should charge up pretty quickly. So what I'll do is that we got an electrical outlet here. We'll just charge it up. This is on and off, so off. A little cover here. This is dust proof, so we got to open up this, plug this in. Okay, we'll just plug this into the outlet and we'll get this thing charging up while we'll start assembling this bike. We just let it charge. Okay, let's see what's else in this goodie package here. Pedals. We got reflectors on them. Got little stubs to grab your shoes. Oh, cell phone holder. I didn't expect that. They didn't say you're gonna get it, but we got it. So we got the cell phone holder. It's got things here for your IDs, credit card if you decide to get a bite to eat while you're out and about. So this is nice. I didn't expect that at all. It's a freebie. Oh, Allen wrench. More assembly. It's a nice one, heavy duty. So after the bike, you got a little tool, you can have something to reuse. A bike lock, cable. So I mean, you're not going to lock this thing outside your house overnight, but good enough to run into the store, you know. More zip ties. The more the better. You got to have zip ties. Instruction manual. We'll figure that out later, I guess.
You don't know?
No, in a cheap old tire pump, I guess. We got a regular tire pump, but this is good. I mean, you know, if you got a little case, you can stick this in your case just in case you need it on the road, but not for home use. Okay, more goodies. Oh, the saddle. Obvious shape, right? It's with the C-post attached. Okay, so it's a pretty long C-post, I guess, so not bad saddle. Nice and wide, really soft. Let's get this thing opened up here. We had to wait a little bit too because it's like 96 degrees today. Heat index is all above 100 degrees, so wait till the evening time a little bit here. There's a seat. And more tape. Yeah, little springs on the back too. Nice and plush. Nice big wide for my tush. Okay, are we getting there? This thing here. Oh, more goodies. Yeah, okay. So this is the case that they give you that goes on the rack here. So straps to the rack so you could carry your pump that you gave us. So it's a nice case. I guess it goes about 40 bucks on the site. Water bottle back here, nice. This is the rack. Uh-oh. Got a little touch-up paint there. Okay, so that's the only damage we've seen so far, but minor. It's not bent. We're just gonna have to touch that up a little bit. Okay, yes, so we're ready to open up the box. Just when we take it out of the box, a lot of people just drag it out, but I think you cause damage doing that way. You want to be kind of careful when you unbox this because this is actually your shipping back if you run into serious problems. There it is, like magic. You can see where there's a dent here in the packaging, but they got thick foam here, which luckily protects it. Okay, now, this is where you got to be a tiny bit careful here. We want to cut just the white zip ties. Don't cut the black ones. And heaven forbid, don't cut any wiring. So take your time, see exactly what you're cutting, and then cut away. I'm just cutting loose tires. This is your front fender. Basically, with the front fender, you just gotta anchor the fender braces to the frame, attach your headlamp. So pretty straightforward. Plastic fender. You know, here you could probably buy a decal that goes across here, a reflective strip decal. That'll make it nice. Okay, we got another strap here. Let's see if we get the strap without. Okay, we got another strap someplace. Oh, this is the crank. Okay, it's locked in with the crank for the pedals. Grab a tool, cut that loose. I'm sure after you do the first bike, it's gonna take you half the time to do the next one. I just want to cut through that. Told you only cut the white ones. Well, here's the black one you got to cut. So, and that's why you can't pull it out. There's another one. Oh, the headlamp. Nice beefy headlamp. It's got some weight to it too. It's not inexpensive headlamp. Now remove this without destroying your spokes. So let me just carefully get this thing out. Okay, she's loose. So as you can see, we got it in blue, and this is a 24-inch tire, which is unusual. Most of the time, mountain bikes are 26-inch tire, a little quicker acceleration, better handling, and most important, it's good for shorter riders. So this review is going to be basically for those that are shorter in stature. A lot of the mountain bike e-bikes, you know, you got to be at least 5'8", 5'9", 5'10". Most people that reviews these mountain bike e-bikes on YouTube, they're all close to 6 feet tall. So yes, they can ride them, but if you want a mountain style e-bike, you know, this is one of the few companies that has a 24-inch size. So this fits people as short as 5 feet 2 inches, which is very nice. Maximum inflation, 20 pounds. And this is the typical e-bike tires you see out there. It's a Chow Yang bike tire. It's an okay tire. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Let's start taking things apart. Let's start with the ones that cause the least damage. This is a controller right here. The Secret 24 that this one is based on the frame, they had a second controller on the bottom here. Well, they incorporated the two controllers into one unit because it's going to be better in the long run because you got less redundancy in circuitry, and then one controller could alternate and control both wheels at the same time, whereas you had one controller for each wheel. So it's nice about this, and you save weight because this bike, believe it or not, weighs the same as the Secret 24, and this has the bigger battery, bigger brakes. So that's that. Oh, this is air shock. The previous version had a regular shock, and that was calibrated for the heaviest load possible, which is, 330 pounds. So that shock never moved. If you're less than 200 pounds, like most shorter people are, you don't have no shock at all. You could adjust the air pressure. So if you're light, you could decrease pressure. If you're heavier or you're pulling or carrying the load, you can increase the pressure. That's a big plus. This alone is worth its weight in gold. Let's continue unwrapping this thing. Be careful here, there's a wire there, so I'd be careful there. Let me make sure that's tightened down. Nice. It looks like it's a matte black with the blue trims. This guy here is a tail light, it looks like. Yes, that goes onto your rack. And this just protects the back of your frame. Yeah, these two are the attachment points for the rack. I'm gonna take a look at this guy. I'll go over the bike you know, once we get this thing all together, because, you know, I did some research on this bike. I'd like to thank Electrified Latina, you know, she corresponded with me on the Seeker 24, and I was looking at that, and then when I went to the website, I seen that they just introduced this one. This is fairly new in the market. It's been out probably less than a month, 3 weeks. So you people that's viewing this channel, you can be one of the first ones to see this thing in action. So this is your display unit. This is the handlebar that's lying over here, by the way. This is your brakes. This is our control. You can see this is the handlebar, so get careful here. Okay. Okay, the first thing we're going to have to do is see the way the stem is looking. This stem has to be pointed forward, so don't move the fork, leave the fork the way it is, and just grab this thing and pull it around. If not, we've got to loosen it up. Let's see, we're going to take off the cap and loosen it. Just loosen it slightly, just enough so we could turn this thing straight forward. It looks like they tighten everything down. Oh, that's loose. This one here loose. Oh, this is tight. They should have been loosed. Seems they got some Loctite on it, so let me make sure this stays left straight. Yeah, you want to pull it forward like this. Let me just snug it down. It's a little too loose. Just eyeball and make sure that it looks kind of straight to you. Okay, make sure the fork is straight. Make sure this is straight. We could adjust it later, but we just want to get this handlebar up. First thing we have to take off these things. This is the bracket that holds the handlebar in place. So just remove the 4 screws. Don't lose them. Just looking at the build quality, it's not bad. I think I'm going to switch over a screwdriver type. It's probably quicker. I guess if you're adventurous, you could use a cordless drill. These are fine threads, so it takes a while to unthread them. Okay, so that's off. Get this handlebar in place. Just sits like that, and then the bracket goes on. So basically, your shifter is on the right side, so bear that in mind. And you can see how this is going to work out, just like that, and clamp it down. Center this thing between the display mount. First of all, you want to get 1 or 2 started, so start it by hand. Always start by hand, you don't want to strip it. Now, something that's like this, you want to tighten it crisscross method. This way you get even torque all around. You should use some of the spike before you drink coffee, people. The easiest way to do it is to use your screwdriver type mount. You got small fingers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to the screwdriver. Let's see. Okay, I switched to the screwdriver, the Allen wrench. So, because now you could grab it and hold it in place while you're trying to screw. Before trying to get your little fingers in there, it's almost impossible. So, okay, now that all 4 are in, then you're going to do X pattern. So, pick a corner until you feel just a little bit resistance. Do the next one. Crisscross it. You feel just a slight resistance. Then crisscross it again, and then this one. Okay, so now we got very slight resistance. Now you center this handlebar, okay, so into the bracket. So make sure it's centered. And then later on, you're gonna have to adjust this to whenever you're sitting on the seat. So now you're gonna adjust it to the proper angle. So make sure it's centered on there, and then next thing would give it a couple more tightens. Okay, so it's a little bit tighter. Pretty much even. And one more time, snug it up. You can always change this around later, so you know, don't worry about it too much, but just want to get this thing started. So okay, so now once that's done, make sure this handlebar is straight with the front fork here. So you got to look down a little bit. Once you find that's appropriate, then you grab this guy. I think it's the second biggest one. Yeah, make sure it's nice and straight, and just snug it down. Now remember that little cap we took off? You want to put it back on there. Stick it back on. That's it. Then these 2 we have to tighten down. So I think it's the same Allen. So this one you want to snug up, because that's what keeps your handlebar on the stem here. At least for now. I mean, like I said, you could do fine adjustments later on, but this allows you to move the steering wheel now. Okay, next one, got to put the front wheel on. Okay, so this one here, you just kick it out, knock it down. Okay, now you got to take off all the hardware They had it on reverse. The flat washer goes in first. Now see the stud is flat on one side. That's when it's going to go up into the grooves. So you got to kind of line it up there. I mean, you do one bike, you can do them all. Okay, we got to make sure that the rotor sits inside the disc brakes there. I'm going to line that up like this so that both sides are lined up. We got to get the flat side parallel with that. Okay, now you can see what this flat spot here is. It's got to be going into the flat spot here. So you got to hold on to this and move the wheel around. Kind of aggravating. But here's a funky looking washer with little hump sticking out. So the hump side goes down like this. And so this slides in. So they had reverse. We were trying to get the wheel on. Then that locks it in place. And then you put the nut on. Boy, it took a while to figure that out. Then found out they had it on backwards. So, okay, come on the other side. We'll show you the same thing. The flat spot is inside the groove. This little hump is going to go into this slot here, so it's not going to move. See? So it's going to lock in. And then the acorn. Then you just crank it down. They give you this guy, so it's probably a 19. So just crank it up. Now we got to hook up this to this. You got to pay attention to the arrow. See the arrow? See the arrow? They got to line up. So you just make sure that they line up. You don't want to bend the pins, so just make sure that the arrows are lined up. Push it together. Then it's got a little collar thing here that you tighten up on. So it doesn't loose up on you, keeps it weatherproof. And that's it. Now, at this point, you can use a zip tie. They got a zip tie mount there. Okay, we'll clip these off later. Now we're going to mount the front fender and the headlamp. So take off the hardware. These things mount here. So we got to get this thing right there. And you could kind of see what you have to do. I guess we go both ways, I guess. Maybe easier this way than grab the nut, right? Okay, now washer on the other side. Still don't give you much to play with. And the nut, I may just have to go with. Okay, I got 3/8 nut driver here. Yeah, that seems to do a trick. Then you could adjust your headlamp. Okay, now we just got to attach that to these guys here. So there's one on each side. So we're just using these 2 Allen wrenches here. I think replacing these rotors may be above my pay grade. I don't know. What's good about the electric bike is I can ride it to a bike shop. It's only a couple miles away. And then just leave it with them. Okay, so we grab this and just line it up. You don't have to tighten it all the way because you want to make adjustments to the fenders so that if one side is rubbing against the wheel, you could move them around. Same thing on the other side. Me being the guinea pig, you guys are learning a lot, I guess, if you buy this bike or the Seeker. They're both the same. I mean, I'm a full-time e-biker, so everything is new to me. Okay. If you want, you guys could use Loctite or a lock washer, but they give you regular washers, but that's fine for now. Just that when you go on your ride, just make sure once in a while that you tighten everything up, so make sure that's all right. It's kind of tight. You want to wiggle the screw and the thread so you're not cross-threading it. It looks like it's pretty squared all around, right? My fingers. So if it's squared enough, then you could tighten it down. I think this is the number 4. So if you number 4 Allen wrench here. There we go. We'll do a shakedown test later. I just want to snug everything up. There we go. So if it rubs, you could always adjust it. It's hard to tell until you start riding it. You goes bend it, I guess. So okay, so we're through with the front end. Okay, so we're going to attach the rack to this thing. So it'll be this one. And this guy. So this is going to hold the rack and the fender bracket together. It's going to be a long bolt because it's got to grab the bracket and the do the same for the other side. It's nice it's got a derailleur guard on the other side. Okay, here's the rack. So the shorter one goes on top and the big one goes on the bottom. So you can see top goes here, attach the other side, just so it give us some stability here. One you want to snug up. Okay, and the longer bolt goes on the bottom. So it's got to go through here, through there, into the, so just pick this up a little bit. Make sure it lines up. Yeah, you're fighting against the spring action of the two metals, so it's not.
If you recall, the rack was scratched during shipment. Well, as it turned out, it was actually bent by a few millimeters. So now we're going to try to pull on the rack to line it up with the hole, get the small Allen wrench and the fender bracket all together through that tiny hole. It was next to impossible. It took two of us pulling and yanking and pulling and yanking. And finally we got it in, and the total time took about the same amount of time as doing the whole assembly of the bike. But we got it in. It's under a lot of stress there, but it's in and we socked it down tight.
And the hardest thing was getting this back rack on because you're fighting against steel and it's not lining up. It's real fine threads, so. Put tail lamp on. This is pretty self-explanatory. These are one of those nuts that has a built-in washer, so you have to thumb around two washers and things like this. Then you use the last two zip ties to tie this thing up to the rack. Yeah, definitely. If you got chubby hands, this. Duh. Yay! Now they give you a wrench to this tail lamp on. Okay, now actually you gotta get this cable tie out of the way, so let's see. Like that. Yeah, you can use as many cable ties as you want, so. Or maybe like this, then you gotta use two cable ties. And like that, huh? You got another tie?
No.
Later. Okay. Next, we're done basically. Put our seat post in. So, we just slide this in. I am short. So, this clamp is open. All the way down. Make sure that it's kind of straight. Lock it in place. There we go. Now, when you adjust the seat post should be at your hip bone, and that's where it's at. So, now I could pedal the bike, but it's 80 pounds. Let's see how much juice we got left in here. Okay, so we'll put the battery on. Okay, turn the battery on. This is the key for the battery. We can make sure it's locked. So you lock it in place. Battery's on there. We got another set of keys up here. This is the keys to start up your bike. You don't want to get them mixed up. Keys go over here. Okay, that turns it on. Press the power button here. There it is. First time starting it up. Okay, so. Last step. Okay, it got dark last night, so the last thing we had to put on was the pedals. So you gotta make sure that the left pedal goes on the left side and the right pedal goes on the right side. So the marks, so you don't want to reverse it, otherwise the pedals will fall off when you're riding on it. So this is the left pedal. We got the right side installed already. So on the bike, they're gonna have a sticker here that tells you which way to tighten it. But on the right side, you go clockwise, on the left side, you go counterclockwise to install it. Line it up with the threads here. It's fine thread, so. Yeah, and just turn the nut and not the pedal. If you turn the pedal, it's not going to turn. So you just tighten it down, and then they do give you a wrench, and the wrench will fit into the grooves here. You just tighten it down until you get it just the right size. It's kind of a loose fit, so be careful that you don't scratch it up too much. Just snug it up. That's all that's to it. Just make sure left is on the left side, right's on the right side, and you're pretty much good to go.
Yay, the bike is done. It's a good looking bike, isn't it? Note that I have a affiliate link provided. If you wish to purchase the bike, please use my link. TUTTIO will throw a few bucks my way to help support my channel. I am not sponsored by TUTTIO at all. I purchased this bike out of my own pocket. So just a quick disclaimer. Well, I hope you found this video informative. Please click the like button. When you have a chance, please subscribe. And thank you for watching.